Okay, so now we're on page 207 and we are officially starting trigonometry, which is the measurement and the study of triangles. So this right here is called my initial ray, and this is my terminal ray. And this is the angle that I rotated, and we're going to use the Greek letter called theta to label angles. So let's talk about some general vocab. So to be in standard position, the initial side is along the positive x-axis. So if here's my coordinate plane, to be in standard position, I'm going to start here with my initial ray, and you're actually going to rotate counterclockwise, and this could be my terminal ray, and this distance that I rotated is going to be called theta. Positive and negative angles. If the angle has a positive measure, you have started on the positive x-axis and you have rotated counterclockwise this way. So this would be a positive angle. To be a negative angle, we're still going to start in standard position on the positive x-axis, but instead to be negative, we're going to go down and go this way. This theta would be negative. Angles that have the same initial ray and terminal ray are called coterminal. We're talking about this more at the bottom of the page, but coterminal means we start and end in the same place. You may not have gotten there the same way, but we start and end in the same place. So, for example, if I were going to be coterminal, let me grab some colors really quick. I could start right here on the positive x-axis and rotate to there, and that angle would be positive. I also, however, could start in the same place and end in the same place, but that angle would be negative. However, we have started and ended in the same place, so we are coterminal. What is a radian? A radian is another way to measure an angle, and we're going to do a little activity in the following days that's going to let you kind of discover what a radian is, but it's no different than talking about miles and kilometers, or inches and centimeters, or dollars and the euro. It's just a different way of measuring something. By definition, the radian is the measure of the central angle, which is called theta, that intercepts the arc S that is equal to the radius of the circle. So what that says is that I have some theta, and I have the arc S that is intersected by the radius R of the circle. And this theta, by definition, is in radians. So how far is it around the circle one time in radians? Well, you think about that for a second. You're going to actually find the definition of that in a couple of days when you do this activity. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to form a 90-degree angle, and supplementary angles are two angles that add up to make 180 degrees. And my little letter curve trick, this is going to sound corny, not that anything I've ever said isn't corny, but complementary starts with 1c, and if you say that every c is equal to 90, complementary is equal to 90. Well, supplementary, to write supplementary, you need two c's. 1c, 2 c's, and then there's your s right there. So this is worth 90, and this is worth 90, so the s is worth 180, which is how I remember it. Okay, and then coterminal angles. Told you we're talking more about this, and so now we're talking more about it. Two angles that are coterminal are coterminal if they're drawn in the same position and they both have the same terminal location. So it says find an angle theta such that theta is between 0 and 360 degrees that is coterminal to each of the following. So if we think about a circle, and forgive me because I can't draw very well, but that's about as good as it gets. You know that a circle has 360 degrees in it. So if I go all the way around once, I go all the way around the circle, there's 360 degrees total. And to make another 40 degrees so that I have 400, I'd be right there. So watch, I'll do it again. There's my 360, and we know that this little piece right here is 40 more because 360 and 40 are going to make my 400. Well, it says find an angle that's coterminal between 0 and 360. Well, if I just went 40, I didn't have to go all the way around and then go 40. I could have just gone this 40 and I would have been coterminal. So for number 1, the answer is 40 degrees. Number 2, I'm going to draw down here. Says negative 280. Well, you should remember from geometry that every quadrant is worth 90 degrees. So if I go this far, that's 180. If I go another quadrant, that's going to be 270. And so then I just have to go 10 more degrees. This little piece right here is 10. So 90 and 90 is 180. 180 and 90 more makes 270, and then 10 degrees more makes my negative 280, and it's negative because I went down and around. The coterminal angle that I have to find here is between 0 and 360, which means I just want this piece right here. Well, if I took 10 off right here for this really little piece, that means I have 80 right here left over, so my coterminal angle that's between 0 and 360 is 80 degrees. For the next one, we're going to go around the circle. So I'm going to go all the way around once and make 360. Oops, sorry. And then I'm going to go around again, and it's going to be 720. And if I go another quadrant, that's 810. Plus another quadrant is going to make 900, which means if I go 40 degrees, this little piece right here is going to be 40 degrees. So watch what I did. There's one circle for 360. There's 2 circles for 720. 720 plus another 80 more put me at 900. I needed 40 more to be at 940. So to get this angle, instead of going around and around, I could have just started here and gone to there. Well, to start here and go to here is 180. 180 plus 40 more is going to be 220 degrees, which is between 0 and 360. The last one, you're going to go around the circle, but you're going to go backwards. And we're not going to quite go 2 times. So if I go backwards once, that's 360. So 360, or negative 360. If I go another quadrant, that's going to give me 420. Plus another quadrant is going to give me 510. Plus another quadrant is going to give me 600. So I need to go right here, and this little piece right here is worth 24. So instead of going backwards once and then around again, I could have just gone this piece right here. If this little piece right here is worth 24, then you're going to do 90. Whoops. I'm going to do 90 minus 24. And that means this piece right here is 66. So my answer right here is 66 degrees. Hopefully now you understand coterminal a little bit better. Okay, so now you're going to go back to Edmodo and you're going to watch the video for page 208. Make sure you have a calculator because you're going to need it when you get down to the bottom of the page.